My name is Frank Garane. I'm sorry for the presentation in English. I thought it was in English, but I can speak in French if you want. Today I'm going to present to you the third chapter of my thesis. It's actually like we actually kind of wrap it up. It's called Aiming Low, Necessity Entrepreneur and the Choice to Incorporate. It's a joint work with Philippe Dastou, who is in HEC Montreal, and Barry Shopnick, who is in right now in Alberta. So. In this paper, what we're trying to do, to be exact and very simple, we're trying to answer this question. When laid off workers become entrepreneur, do they actually succeed? And why is it important? Is because like you have kind of a gap in the literature. You have two camps of the literature that are kind of fighting each other with the result that they found. One of them tend to find that those necessity entrepreneurs, that's the way how we call them, tend to perform pretty well, and the other find the opposite result. And our question was like, why this is occurring? And when we dig into the data, we see that the problem and the result that they're finding is mostly driven by the data that they have. And what I mean by that is like they kind of have a certain limitation of the data that they have. Whereas like here in Canada, we have like a great data set called the seed data set that actually allow you to disentangle between an unincorporated business and incorporated business. And this is where actually the results are going to be confounded. We found there that those necessity entrepreneur or displaced entrepreneur, they actually can be good entrepreneur depending on the type of business structure that they decide to open. So we found that those that are aiming high, what we mean by aiming high, those that are opening and corporate business, they tend to do not perform well either in the short-term horizon or long-term horizon. Whereas like those that are opening like simple, complex, simple structure such as an unincorporated business, it tend to outperform their peers either at the short-term horizon and long-term horizon. So to explain to you what exactly we're doing, we're going to use the seed data set, which is a match employee-employer data set to make it simple. Everything that you have on your T4, we are able to see it. But obviously it's anonymized, right? And it goes from 2001 to 2021. And right now we have the 2023 version. So our results are getting updated and it's getting vetted right now by Statistics Canada. So every taxpayer in Canada, we are able to see them. Every firm, we are able to see them. So that's allow us to correctly observe individuals through their life. And what we want to see is like those workers that are getting laid off, what happened to them? And what we're going to do, we're going to use a technique that it's widely used in labor economics, which is like a mass layoff, which is an exogenous shock. So we're going to look at those that are getting affected by a mass layoff. Obviously, we're going to compare them to peers that are very similar to them on their marital status, age, type of firm that they used to work on, skills, earnings prior to the shock. So because we have like granularity in our data, it's only available in Canada that we can get to this granularity of data. We also have postal code, so we're going to compare like workers among each other and see how they perform. So to give you quickly the result, because I know I don't have like 1 minute left. So we found that those that are aiming high, like those that are opening and corporate business, they do not perform well either at the short-term horizon or long-term horizon. And then we comparing like we're controlling for many factors. Um, Whereas like those that are aiming low, what we mean by aiming low, those that are opening like small businesses, they do actually outperform their peers, either at the short-term horizon and long-term horizon. And this paper, like right now, it's like well received. Like we got a lot of comment. We got into like a big conferences, and right now we're actually like trying to frame it like for mostly like a policy advice too. And there's like this Canadian program of entrepreneurship that was interesting into that. So we think that thanks to our result, like we have a better idea and a better understanding on if like those laid off worker or necessity entrepreneur can be viewed as a good entrepreneur or no, and this can help like government like better assess their targeting program on like startups and all of that. So that's pretty much it for it. If you have any question, let me know. But yeah.